Welcome to Monoreel Radio Dockside Chat number 47. I'm Sean.
And I'm Jackie.
And we are coming to you live from Dockside Margaritas here at Disney Springs on a picturesque Saturday night. There was rain that blew through earlier, so it cooled everything down. The clouds are starting to break and the sun is setting, so you are just getting fabulous colors right now.
At 8:15 at night, we still have daylight. I can't believe that in a few short weeks, we are going to be back here for Flavors of Florida already.
We were talking about that on the way here.
That's kind of blowing my mind right now.
I'm excited for it. I am super excited.
But yeah, no, this is the picture perfect evening. The band is kicking over there. Everybody is in party mode. Like, we are post-spring break partiers. I think this is the locals coming out to play again in the couple of weeks of a breather that we have before school lets out in Florida and everything gets a bit more crowded.
Yeah, this is definitely... These are the locals, these are the pass holders taking out their revenge on the last, 6 weeks. And we are just happy to be here and happy to support a local business here at Dockside Margaritas. It's
just doing our part.
It's, the economy runs through Monoreel Radio, especially when they have your beloved Chipotle, pineapple, margarita.
Listen, there is a new bartender working tonight. Her name is Lena. She was very sweet. I've never seen her before. So she served us up, and then she said, "I'll see you in 25 minutes. I was like, does she listen? How does she know?
I feel seen.
I feel attacked. But I am very happy to have my beloved Chipotle pineapple.
And I went with the tried and true staple, the Sunset Margarita.
She asked if I wanted the tahini on it, though. I was like, yes, always, yes. Let's give this a little mixaroo here.
Oh, you finally learned. Cheers.
Cheers. Oh, classic. This is truly the perfect night.
This one is really good because at first I thought, I've never had a weak drink from Dockside before. However, it's not a weak drink. It's just hitting me late. This is
Disney magic.
It's Disney magic.
Release.
It is. Sometimes when they really give you a good pour, at first you go, I don't taste anything. I taste it all. It's like a delayed reaction.
Yes, before I learned to mix.
Correct. That is a delicious, delicious margarita. We have a lot of fun things to discuss tonight. I'm very excited to relive the last month here in Central Florida.
This episode is sponsored by Hidden Mickey Supply Co. Products include Disney and Pixar-inspired 3D straw charms, ornaments, and personalized photo nightlights. Listeners of Monoreel Radio can get a 10% discount using the code Monoreel10 at checkout. Visit Hidden Mickey Supply Co. on Instagram and Etsy to stay up to date on all of the new releases, and you're definitely going to want to check them out because they have a lot of new charms.
Yeah.
But Heather and Taylor have really stepped up their game with these straw charms. They are mixing colors. They are layering. They look absolutely incredible. I had posted a picture because they just sent us a new stash.
We got a box in the mail.
It's the most magic mail. But I posted a picture on our Instagram story because they just look so lovely with all of the new colors. And I'm so excited. I love buying them for people that book their trips with me because it's something that's so perfect to send them to hype them up.
Yeah.
Because they can picture their Joffreys just sitting in their hand with their straw charm adorning the top of it.
Well,
all right.
If you are interested in getting one of those beautiful straw charms for free, stick around to the end of the show. That's the most that I will say.
That was nicely done. All right, let's get into it.
It's like I've done this before.
So we mentioned this on last month's Dockside. We had just started watching Shoresy. We had only gotten through the first episode and
of the new season.
Of the newest season.
To be clear,
yeah. We have been keeping up with this show religiously at every drop. So yeah, we had watched the first episode and we blew through the rest of the new season because I was heading up to New York and we didn't want to leave it. Not that they typically do cliffhangers on Shoresy, maybe once in a blue moon, but we just didn't want to wait until I was back.
Yeah.
So we plowed through it, but it goes down so easy. It's so funny. It is such a well-written show. Like, Jared Keeso needs to be studied. Honestly, he is the most brilliant writer. I don't know that I want to say of our generation, because Dan Levy's incredible, Diablo Cody is incredible, but he is easily top 5 best writers for me. He is so funny. It's unreal.
Given the premise of the show, and given the premise, and I think I said this the last time we discussed Shoresy, given the premise of the show and the origin of the character, this series should not have so much heart, but it does, and it is wildly funny. I love this season. It is one of my favorite seasons. I don't know that it is my favorite season. I think last season was probably my favorite, but this one's certainly towards the top. It never lets you down, and I'd say that even if you're not a hockey fan, if you like Schitt's Creek, I think you'd really like Shoresy.
I think Letterkenny was the comp for, if you're jonesing for Schitt's Creek, watch Letterkenny. And I love Letterkenny. I truly do. But I feel like Shoresy is tonally closer to Schitt's Creek.
Yeah, there were episodes I would watch of Letterkenny, and we actually started a rewatch of it.
That's like our bedtime before we go to sleep show.
And to this day now, there are episodes I watch and I go, this is one of the best shows on television. And I'll watch the next episode and I'll say, this is the dumbest show I've seen. That's the difference. Is now, as a whole, Letterkenny was phenomenal.
The cold opens are unmatched.
But there isn't one episode of Shoresy where I sit there and go, that was kind of dumb, or that didn't make sense. Every episode of Shoresy is just as good as its predecessor.
They have a winning culture.
They certainly do. Never lose a game.
All right, so let's get into some of the stuff that we've been up to in and around Orlando. We had a good mix. We hit all three major, well, not parks, but all 3 major
destinations.
There you go. Thank you. Leave it to the travel agent to draw a blank on that one. We're dialing it all the way back to Mardi Gras. Our last Mardi Gras was towards the end of March. We were there specifically to see, well, I mean, we got to a lot this year. We wanted to make sure we went several times, but specifically we wanted to see Barenaked Ladies. To a point where I left to go to New York on a Sunday. I normally go on a Saturday to get the whole weekend. I stayed for the concert, and then you dropped me off the next day. We had such a great time. We finally got to see a parade full out.
Yep.
There were no stops. The floats were full. It was a wonderful parade. We had quite possibly one of the best team member interactions that we've ever had across any of the parks. So we went over and picked out the spot for the concert. I'm trying to remember. We did the parade. We did something else though.
We grabbed a quick bite before. We went through the tribute store again to see if anything had been marked down, because last year everything was heavily marked down. But they hadn't started that sale yet. I think we were a week early this year.
We did Cursed.
We went back to Cursed.
That was it. We had the one last hurrah at Cursed Coconut.
And we went upstairs, which we hadn't done yet, and that was a lot of fun. And we went, how is it that we only came up here now?
It was like Trader Sam's. There were things moving on the bars that we never noticed in the background. They also, in plain sight, I think they dropped a house name, because they had it was like a fake newscast, and they were by the bayou. It was the Monster of the Bayou, and they teased it so much with Creature from the Black Lagoon. Like, there were so many Easter eggs for Creature in Cursed Coconut. I truly believe they dropped a name of the house even before MegaCon. It was just in plain sight. We also got some very exciting news, which we were not told not to say, and it's been like a month, so I think we can.
I think the statute of limitations has expired. We're not going to say who it was that told us this. So if they weren't supposed to tell us they're protected, we'll say they.
Sure.
We won't even specify. They told us.
We were kind of bummed that this was going to be our last night in Kurt's Coconut, that it would be our last time in the venue, because they don't do anything with the space for summer. It's just,
not typically.
It's Halloween, it's Christmas, and then it's Mardi Gras. But it sits empty all summer long, and I'm like, why wouldn't you use the space for something? I know they do for private parties, but prayers answered in the best of ways.
Yeah.
Not only are they going to have it open over the summer, it is going to be 90s themed. Think Saved by the Bell, and like Jesse Spano, I am so excited.
Well, it makes sense too, because if you saw pictures of the new Legacy shop, the Universal Legacy store that's reopening, because they don't need the Epic Universe Preview Center anymore.
Right.
So they're bringing back the Legacy store, and if you see what the Legacy store looks like and the signage for it, specifically the font for it, it screams 90s Universal. So I think they're really leaning into that theme this year, which I'm very excited about, because that, to me, is my era of Universal.
The new line of clothes they put out, too, yeah, it was definitely leaning 90s. But that made me so excited. Like, that's something, especially because it's indoors, that is something that will drag me out of the house in summer temperatures.
Yeah.
Several times. I cannot wait. So yeah, parade. And then we picked out our spot for the concert. And I was sort of nursing my beer because I was full. We had already drank a lot. This was like my last one for the night, and I was sipping on it slow. And I guess that got noticed by the team member, because he came up to me. He asked if we were on vacation or if we lived locally, because I guess if he thought we were on vacation, he really wanted to, like, hype us up a little bit more. So I was like, oh, no, we're on the coast. He's like, where? And I gave him the town, which is not, like, a common one. And he's like, oh, yeah, sure. And
because I was born there.
Yeah, oh, my God, I was born there. So I was like, oh, so you know. And he's like, no, not really. And I was like, okay, well, that's more like what I was expecting. And then he called me out for not drinking my drink. So I will not be...
You will not be challenged.
I will not be challenged. I will not be disrespected like that. I started to chug it just to call his bluff. And he goes, don't chug it. That's expensive. I died laughing.
It was hysterical.
So funny. He made my whole night. It's just, and like, you'd never, I'm not knocking the mouse, but like, you'd never see something like that. Or at least, like, it takes a Jungle Cruise skipper to make that kind of a joke.
Yes.
About things being expensive. This was just fantastic. And he, you know, every interaction he had, because he was maneuvering through the crowds before the concert started, like, you could just see people cracking up. He was absolutely incredible. Great show. They always put on such a great show.
Barenaked
Like,
Ladies,
they
so good.
genuinely love playing there, and it's so nice to see, because they know the part. Like, there are people who say it, and it's like, oh, I love being back. I love playing here. Da 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 da. But it's like, no, you know they love to do it when they start naming the rides. Yeah.
And you know, Barenaked Ladies, like, they draw a big crowd. But it's weird. Like, I think because they dedicate so much space, so much open space to the concerts at Universal, and because they run a full show, it doesn't have the same, like, panic that some of the Eat to the Beat shows have.
Right.
Where, like, people are literally pressed up against you or stepping on your heels to get a viewing spot. This is crowded, but, like, everybody tends to spread out a little bit and just relax. And I think that they were really good last year. I actually think they were better this year.
It was 2 years ago already.
That's right, it was 2 years ago. I actually think they were better this time. They sounded crisper. It did hurt the aesthetic a little bit, and nothing that they did wrong. not having Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket running the cars during the show, because even if they were running empty cars, there was something so cool about having a roller coaster run right behind the concert stage during a show. It added so much to the ambiance. And they're going to open Fast and the Furious soon enough, so they'll have something else there, and I hope it brings that feeling back.
I believe they started laying the tracks this week.
Yeah, so something will be there. Hopefully they'll do the same thing, but I missed having that coaster run through that big loop right behind the stage.
I don't think I even noticed it missing at Joey Fatone and AJ, but I mean, you know me, I'm like otherworldly fangirling at that point, so I wouldn't have noticed it. I would say the crowd for BNL was probably the same, like equal,
same age, yeah.
No, I was going to say equal, if not more, size-wise, as far as feeling packed in there. I would say equal to Joey and AJ, if not more. Like, they had a big draw. And it's also, you're later in, like, this is more spring break time.
Yes, that's
so I
true.
think that had to do with it, too. You have a lot more, like, Joey and AJ was probably more local. I think this was more people on vacation. Which is great. Like, It's just, you know, the fact that it still blows my mind. Like, Eat to the Beat is one thing because they do a couple of sets, and of course that's included in your park admission. But this is a full-out concert.
Yes.
Included in your park admission. Which is wild. Such a great show.
It was wonderful. I miss Mardi Gras. But with them starting to tease Halloween Horror Nights, you know what? I'm not wishing the next few months away, because I really do like this time of year here. I like Flavors of Florida that they'll do here at Disney Springs in June. There's a lot of wonderful things to look forward to. Our town's 4th of July bash is bonkers good. And I feel like once we get towards like the midway point of July and we know we're within like 45 days of HHN, that's where I start getting excited for like, all right, let's go, let's get there. And I feel like we're going to start seeing them slow roll some more houses earlier this year than last year, because they don't have Epic Universe that's opening this year, so they don't have to solely focus on marketing a new gate. So I think that we're going to get a lot earlier, and there'll be a lot more build-up, I think, this year than there was last year.
That's a really great point, for sure. Yeah, but it's funny you talked about that I can't wait feeling. To me, I obviously love coming here. I love that Disney is at our fingertips. It's still 4 years later now that we are here. Never gets old being here all the time. But I get hyped for Halloween Horror Nights the way that I used to when we were counting down that final month to a Disney vacation. That's how I start feeling come July.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
But let's talk about enjoying this time of the year at EPCOT. We had a really, really wonderful evening at EPCOT recently with two very, very dear friends and their wonderful little girl.
Yeah. So Disney was hosting a bunch of radio stations from the Northeast to promote Cool Kids Summer. So they had a bunch of people come down and do their shows live. They did a live broadcast, which would air on their respective stations. But we had several of our friends in town because, you know, these are people that, well, I mean, what's wild about this friend in particular that was here, I used to sit next to him in college. We didn't intern together at our station. He was working at another one and then came over. But, I mean, I've known him longer than I've known you at this point.
Yeah, it's true.
And then, funny enough, we hired his now wife as one of our interns. She was one of my bridesmaids. So, like, when we say very, very dear friends, like, we're not kidding.
Yeah.
But just the history we have with them is... It's wild. And we know that they're going to be here later on this year. Since this was a work trip, you know, like we've seen this before when our friends come down for work trips. It's a little chaotic. They are on such a regimented schedule, and they have so many places to be. And aside from the broadcast and getting up early, they have to gather all their content.
Yep.
So it's very, very busy. We weren't expecting to see them. I kind of threw it out there as a shot in the dark because we knew we were going to be at EPCOT anyway. My brother had just gone to England, and he had a birthday coming up, so I figured he went to real England, let's be clear. But I figured I would go to EPCOT, get him like some teas and treats and some of the stuff that he enjoyed while he was over there, because you can do that in the respective countries. So I threw it out there. I was like, you know, I know you guys are busy, but I would hate to find out after the fact we were in the same park and missed you by like 5 steps. Turns out they were there, and we got a couple of hours with them, which was so lovely and so much more time than I thought we were going to get to spend. But it was just nice knowing not only that they were here, our dear friend Christina was here, even though she was so busy we didn't get to see her, unfortunately.
But we'll see her soon.
We'll see her soon. But it was just nice having everybody around, and I'm happy for the time that we did get with them. But we had a blast. It was so much fun going through with their daughter, who was a little firecracker. She wants to do what she wants to do, and she just goes and does it.
She is so much fun. Like, when you sit there and go, oh, you're your mother's daughter. Oh, you're your father's daughter.
Both.
It's both. It is absolutely both. I know this is going to sound dumb, but she is her parents' daughter, and I mean that she is both of them. She is the most electric part of both of them.
Yeah.
It's insane. And it was great to experience that with them, and to experience, like, seeing Disney through her perspective and how excited she was to see so many things. And nobody had more fun. When it was time to party, nobody had more fun than that kid. It was great.
Oh my God. We were walking World Showcase because we started Mexico. We're strolling around. We met up with them in Norway, and she wanted to go on Nemo. So we're, taking the long way around, and the Garden Rocks concert was going on. And I had forgotten who it was, so we went over to see, and it's Rick Springfield. Out of the stroller, dancing with everybody that she encountered. It was so fun to watch.
Yeah, and I won't give away her age because we'll completely protect her identity. Like you said, she popped out of the stroller. She's very, very little. She's a little kid.
Yeah.
But
that's what made it so funny.
But that's what made it so funny. She took control of that little dance circle like she was in her 40s. Like, grew up listening to Rick Springfield with her parents. Like, she was all about it. And Rick Springfield, I have to tell you, I was impressed. He was a lot of fun. I'm sorry, Rick, if you're listening to this. I do not care for his program on 80s on 8 on Sirius XM. But on stage, totally different guy. I can see where he's much better on stage performing than he is in a radio booth. Like, if you really want to see Rick Springfield, go see him at EPCOT. His show is so much fun. He was a very pleasant surprise.
He kind of reminds me, and I have no evidence of this, but I truly believe that Rex Manning of Empire Records was based off of Rick Springfield. Because, he's got like the cutoff tank top on. He's ripped. He's got some,
and he's in his
60s.
Arms. I mean, the guy's in great shape.
And he just wants to shred on that guitar. And he does have a lot more rocked out songs. However, there is one song that everybody is there to hear. And he cannot pretend to be anything that he is not. That is what they want to see. And he is never going to shake the reputation that he's got from Jesse's Girl. He's just not. But it was an entertaining show. Speaking of rocking out, this was something that I meant to bring up to you that night, and then just we never circled around to it. I love when Disney has the sign language interpreters. And, it's very common to see them, like, for Jollywood or very merry and not so scary, and any show they'll have the interpreters out. I don't know if this was a Disney cast member or somebody that Rick brought, but he did have a sign language interpreter. And, you know, part of ASL is that you have to emote. It's not just about the signs. So this woman, just like the most rock and roll face that you can imagine. She was so into it. She was having so much fun. It just enhanced everything. It was really, really great. And while we're on that topic too, I don't know if you saw this. Because it is Awareness Month, Disney is re-releasing some of their songs, like as a music video. Some of the most popular Disney songs with the characters animated, doing American Sign Language. So they have, I believe, Colors of the Wind from Pocahontas. They have Anna's solo from Frozen 2, How Far I'll Go. And at first when I saw it, I was like, oh, please tell me they didn't use AI for this. Although, AI for good things like this is not necessarily a horrendous thing. No, they actually spent the money, they motion captured it, they did it the right way. And they're re-releasing them as movies. I was like, what a wonderful thing that they're doing. Like, this is the type of inclusivity that you want to see.
Yeah, for sure.
Amazing.
It was, all in all, we did Turtle Talk with Crush. That was a lot of fun. We've not done that previously. I don't think we ever did that before.
No, we did on a vacation.
We may have, and I just sort of forgot about it. But watching the kids interact with Crush, it's basically the same technology that you see on the Monsters, Inc. lab floor, but a lot more condensed. It's a lot smaller. But the person who's friends with Crush, unbelievable. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. The more audience participation, the better. And like, those have become such viral videos too. If the kid asks something like totally outlandish, and puts them on the spot, like, that's fun.
Yeah,
that's definitely fun.
Everybody mostly behaved themselves during our trip through Turtle Talk.
It's tempting.
It was tempting, but
didn't do it.
But just leave it be. Just leave it be. Speaking of Turtle Talk, let's talk about going to SeaWorld Orlando.
Yes.
Twice.
2 separate occasions. We were there to check out the Seven Seas Festival. Finally,
the
that
food festival,
only took us 4 years to do, which is honestly shameful because it runs for so long.
It's ridiculous.
Here's the catch, though. Unless it's like a school holiday, during the week, it's not like EPCOT. They open some of the booths after 4 o'clock. On weekends, everything is open from noon on, and that's when they typically have their the concerts. So the first time that we had attended, it was a Monday. It was actually after you picked me up. We went straight there.
Yeah, you had just come back from New York. I picked you up. We went straight to the park.
And, that was it. Being that we were already out there, we weren't looking to do anything crazy, but we figured we would start knocking out some of the booths because there was a lot that we wanted to try. And what's wonderful about this festival is that they sell a sample lanyard. And you can buy them they have like different tiers that you can do, like 10 samples or 15. And as pass holders, on the 15, they kick you 3 extra tastings. So you get 18. What is remarkable about it, you do not have to use it all in one trip. They are very aware that their pass holders make the world go round, and they want you to come multiple times, so they will let you roll it over, and you do not need to buy it per person. Sean and I got 1 pass, and it allowed us both to sample huge portions of food.
They give you a lot of food. I mean, it's basically a full plate of food.
And they also include booze as part of the samples. Not a full size, it's a sample size.
So it's like 7-ounce cup.
But when you're there all day long and you are full, it's very nice to be able to switch over and start sampling beer.
Yeah, have a beer, sip on a cocktail.
The value is absolutely unreal.
Yeah, so
we got to try a lot.
The 15 card or the 15 punch card was $89. So $89, you get to try 15 things. For pass holders, they bump it up to 18 things. So for $45 each, Jackie and I each got to try up to 9 items if we split it down the middle.
Like
Plus,
$5 a pop when you break it down.
So you're paying the prices that you would pay at Food and Wine Festival at EPCOT. However, you're getting literally twice, sometimes 3 times the food because you're getting a full plate. But the caveat being, to the point you just made, not everything is open during the week. So that is where it differs from something like an EPCOT, or even like when they open food booths at Universal for Mardi Gras, for example. They're not all going to be open from open to close. And in fact, after 4 o'clock, some of them don't open at all. It's a limited number on certain days. So you sort of have to be strategic. If there's something you absolutely want to try, you may be better off going on a weekend. Yes, you'll deal with the crowds, but if there's something specific that you want, I would not necessarily leave it to chance. But yes, it's so wonderful that they give you the entire run of the festival to use these punch cards. It's great value on the dollar.
I was more than happy to break it up into 2. I could have broken it up into 3. It was a ton of food. Even though we had a limited number of offerings on Monday, I was happy to just start crossing some things off the list because I couldn't have done that in one day.
Yeah.
There was just no way. But we're going to go through and talk about some of the items that we did try. We're going to go in numerical order because SeaWorld is nice enough to map everything out and label the booths numerically so that you can find them easily on the map. And I love this. So we did not do the Caribbean market. We did not do the Italian market. No reason for that. There were just other things that we wanted to try more.
Correct. Did we skip a booth or no?
No.
No, we didn't try anything from either of these. Okay.
Yeah, no. Polynesian.
Yes.
I got the poke bowl, as I do. That was the last thing that I had. And what a way to go. It was a huge portion. I was already so full, but I did it anyway. Really, really good. Pretty standard. Nothing that like totally wowed me, but it was good.
Well, let me ask you a question, though. It was a large poke bowl.
Yeah.
If you had gone to a poke restaurant, we have one in our town. It's a to-go poke place. What would you have paid a la carte for that bowl?
It was tuna, so probably $16 or $17.
So $16 or $17, and that was one of 9 samples that you were able to get for $45.
Exactly.
So that's noteworthy, and it is noteworthy too that I had the teriyaki chicken slider at that booth, and it was very, very good. However, it was 1 piece of chicken on 1 King's Hawaiian roll, and it was like $9 if you bought it a la carte. This was the only thing in all of the booths that I saw that said, that's a lot of money for something so small when you can get something the same size, if not slightly larger, at EPCOT for half the price. It was very good. If I didn't have the punch card, I would have been furious to spend that much money on it.
And your chicken was marinated. The teriyaki came on the side, which is good for you because you don't like things heavily dressed.
Yeah.
But this is worth noting. This is a big difference from something like an EPCOT festival or a Mardi Gras. Not all of the descriptions reflect how the dish is presented, and this is something we wanted to make a big point of mentioning. I did, by the way, in my survey that I got following our visit.
That's because I didn't get one.
I got it. So there were a couple of things that we had tried. We'll hit on them as we go through. Sean is allergic to pepper. It's not like a preference. He can't eat it. And there were a couple of things we got that had sauces on them that were not mentioned in the descriptions.
Yeah.
Nor that were they in the picture of what the plate looked like. So that's something where I was like, that's like kind of a risky game to play when people have food allergies.
Yeah, I mean, I could have sent it back and said, excuse me, I don't want this, but I also wasn't going to be wasteful, and we were able to work around a lot of those.
Yeah, and for this one in particular, Polynesian, this was the last thing we ate before we went into the concert, which we'll get we'll get into later, we were kind of up against it, getting receipts. Other thing to note here, part of the reason the festival runs so long, they break everything up, changing out the menus, which we do see at EPCOT. But usually that's more of a seasonal thing, like in the early fall, because food and wine starts so early. They'll have a different dish over the summer, and then we see, like, come September, October, it'll be switched to, like, a butternut squash pumpkin something.
Something more seasonal or something that is easily sourced.
This is where you can also tell where they really want you to come back, because they switch the dishes out 3 times.
Yeah.
Which also really makes it worth it for the pass.
Yeah.
And why they want you to purchase the pass, because it will roll over so you can come back. Okay, North Atlantic, we didn't have anything from there. We wanted to. The Hush Puppies, the Corn Fritters, we just never made it there. Coaster Cocktails, that's just a straight cocktail booth.
Old Fashioned Milk Co. Yep, I got the espresso martini. It was very, very good. Vodka, coffee liqueur, espresso, and sugar. I do prefer my espresso martinis with Baileys. I know a lot of people are sort of down the middle on that. It was very, very good. Comparable to any of them that I've had here on Disney property, I would say yes. Exceeded any of them, I would say no. But all in all, a very good cocktail all around.
The All-American Market, we had hit that on our first day. We did the
lobster
mac.
The lobster macaroni and cheese.
Ton of lobster on that.
There's a lot of lobster meat.
Chunky lobster. Yeah. The value on the dollar was crazy.
I couldn't believe how much lobster they gave you on this plate. I was astonished with how much they gave you on this plate. It was really, really good.
And then, did we try the dessert?
No.
I thought you wanted to.
I wanted to, I just had no room. There was no space left.
Okay, that's Cruise. Mediterranean we did not do. Brazilian Market we hit twice. Because they have the Brazilian cheese bites, which if you're familiar with Food and Wine Festival, it's the pretty standard ones. Not the Costco ones.
Yeah.
The miniature ones.
That they tried to pass off at EPCOT a few years ago.
That 1 year, yeah, they learned their lesson. They serve them with a guava sauce, which puts it over the top. It almost tastes like an apple caramel sauce, but it changes the entire profile of the dish to a dessert.
It was unreal.
It's a sweet and savory. It's like a whole charcuterie board in a bite. It's incredible. We also got the frozen guava caipirinha. This was probably my favorite drink of the whole festival.
This was very refreshing, especially because it was quite hot the second day that we went. So to have a nice frozen cocktail, it really put it over the top, and it was very, very refreshing.
But not one of those frozen cocktails where all you get is ice in the straw. It was like melting at the same time, so you got all of the flavor. Chef's kiss, it was perfect. It was incredible. Asia, I did the fried cheesecake.
Oh, the fried cheesecake in Asia. So
bonkers good.
What I anticipated it would have been was just a piece of cheesecake that was like panko fried. No, they were in egg roll wrappers.
Over the top. It's kind of like if you're familiar with the Pongo Lumpia over in Animal Kingdom in Pandora. But that is like a spring roll shell. It's stuffed with pineapple and cream cheese. It's delicious, but it falls apart very easily. It's very flaky. You kind of need a fork to eat it. This was the perfect grab and go. They cut it into 2, so it was very easy for us to just pick up. And it's a walkable snack.
With the strawberry sauce, it was over the top.
That, I dare say, was like a best of the fest item.
Because I didn't have high hopes for it. I figured, it's just fried cheesecake. How good could it be?
No, it's that good.
It was really that good.
Let's see. Waterway Bar, Lucky Cat,
The German Market.
There you go. That's all you.
The chicken schnitzel sandwich came on a pretzel bun. And this is what I'm thinking, it'll be more like the slider. It's going to be a small... No, it is like
a full
portion chicken sandwich. if you ordered this from like a fast food restaurant, they would charge you $7 or $8 for it. The bun was great. It was nice and warm. It was chewy. It was what you wanted in a pretzel. They didn't salt it, which I actually thought was a great decision. And the chicken was so juicy and had so much flavor. It was so crispy. If there weren't 2 or 3 other things, because I hit that early in the festival, if there weren't 2 or 3 more things that I wanted to do, if it hadn't been as large of a sandwich as it was, I would have gotten back online to get another one. That's how good it was. I loved it.
It was good. I would have been interested to try it with the mushroom sauce. I thought it was a little dry, but that's just me. I tend to think chicken is dry in general.
Well, because most people are making chicken breast.
Yeah.
And that is the driest part of the chicken, especially if you overcook it. I thought they cooked it well.
Yeah, no, I need some kind of sauce, but I'm happy that you enjoyed it.
I loved it.
Speaking of enjoying things, our favorite section probably of SeaWorld. I mean, I do love the Flame Craft Bar. I love the Glacier Bar. And I love hanging out with my sea lions, and it's my favorite thing to do there. But the beer garden, it is, I will say, as enjoyable as a trip to Baseline Tap House, and this year it just got more enjoyable. We usually hang there when we do the holidays at SeaWorld, because they usually have a couple of good booths. Like, that's where the real, like, Christmassy booths are, where you get, like, you know, a Thanksgiving plate of, like, turkey piled on potatoes and cranberries and that kind of thing, or
and you get a good
like
seasonal
a real
beer.
Christmassy dessert.
Yeah.
So we knew we wanted to hit that just to, you know, take a break from eating and get a couple of hole punches on a beer sample. I didn't know what they had there. I didn't look at the menu beforehand because I just knew we were going to get a beer. So you can imagine my surprise when I opened up the app and found my beloved PB&J Sour Mixtape.
If you know, you know. Halloween Horror Nights.
On tap here. And the tap was so cute. It was like a little sandwich and the jelly was all dripping down. I almost wept tears of joy in the middle of SeaWorld.
We made sure to get
right outside of Sesame Street.
Yeah, that wasn't put there by accident, by the way. They put the beer garden right outside of Sesame Street.
I was overjoyed to find this beer because they don't sell it everywhere. Like, it's not something you can find easily at Publix. It's a gluten-free beer, that's worth noting, which is great because it doesn't make you feel all gross after.
Yeah.
They have it at Trader Joe's, which we don't have one by us. They have it at some ABC stores. I have yet to see it there, but, like, I'm going to sniff this out like a bloodhound. Like, I will find it in Florida. I was just so happy to have it again. There's something that, like, here's the thing. Our friends have purchased it for us because they know I'm an addict at this point.
And my parents got it for us for Christmas.
Yes. So I have had this beer since Horror Nights, but there's something about it that hits different, especially when it's on draft. Drinking it in a theme park.
When you find it in the wild, it's exciting.
I was very excited. Another best of the fest, the Gulf Coast Market. So we're thinking New Orleans fare here. The pork boudin balls, crispy fried pork with like a rice ball. Oh my God, so good. Okay, so this was the thing though. You were dying to try this, and it came with an aioli just squirted all over top. It looked to me like a Russian dressing, so I was like, oh my God, he's not even going to be able to eat these. You ended up liking the aioli.
I thought it was okay.
But this was probably my favorite thing, even more so than the fried cheesecake. This was like the dish for me.
I think this was in the top 3.
It was incredible. And we also got the Bananas Foster beignets, and this is the second time I've said this about SeaWorld. It's better than Port Orleans.
I would agree.
It was amazing.
These beignets were dynamite.
Also in this area of the beer garden, the Mexican market, we got the carne asada tacos.
No, we got the chicken asada tacos.
Thank you. I'm sorry. I'm reading it and I'm looking at the wrong line here. They were good, but again, it did not fit the description. They were so spicy.
Too spicy for me.
They were almost too spicy for me, but I ate them.
and they put them on a blue corn tortilla, which made for a nice presentation. But the problem was they were very juicy. There was a lot of sauce on it, and the blue corn tortilla sort of just fell apart.
Yeah.
So I see what you're trying to do.
Appreciate what you're trying to do.
But I don't think it worked.
Ireland, we got the... I just want to remind everyone, this was over 2 days. We were not that gluttonous. We did the Bailey's cheesecake. That was awesome.
And they do say that that's a 21 and over dessert, because there is Bailey's obviously in the cheesecake. At first I thought, because they put chocolate syrup on it, and I believe it was a chocolate crust if I remember correctly. So the first bite, the first taste, I went, oh, it's kind of just a chocolate cheesecake. I don't get it. But then, sort of how the layers of this margarita unleashed themselves on me, the same thing happened with the cheesecake. It got very... I used to talk for a living. It was very Baileys-y on the end. Like, the Baileys really stood through on the finish, and I went, wow, this really took it over the top. The Baileys is very pronounced in it. It was a very good dessert. I was a big fan, personally.
I loved it, and I loved that it was cold. It was almost like a frozen cheesecake. Like, it was like a cheesecake ice cream almost, but it didn't have that same texture. It's not like when you have a frozen bar and it's like really, really hard. It was still like that soft cake consistency, but it was ice cold, which was great on a hot day. Yeah, that was another best of the fest for me. I'd say that was my top three. The Bailey's cheesecake, the frozen cheesecake, and the pork rice balls.
I would say, for me, it was the chicken schnitzel sandwich, the pork rice balls, and probably the fried cheesecake. I mean, I've had really good cheesecake. Bailey's cheesecake was so good, but having it with that nice chilled strawberry sauce in the egg roll wrapper was warm, but the cheesecake was cool. Like texturally, it was an experience. That's what put that one over the top for me.
Speaking of experiences, I owed you one, because not only do you do things for me like sit through Joey Fatone and I shouldn't say sit through. That's a poor choice of words, because
we stand for them.
But you also you've come to enjoy Joey.
I like him as a showman. It's not my music. It's not my kind of music, but I enjoy him as a showman.
But I owed you, and Gene Simmons played a solo show at SeaWorld as part of this festival earlier on this year, which you sat out because my parents were here. So I really, really owed you one. And that night, Trace Adkins was performing. I mean, if there was ever a time to get me to see him, it's when I don't have to pay for it, because that would have been a hard sell. But we went to the show. I remember watching Trace Adkins on The Apprentice, and I remember what a character he was, because he was, he's one of those people where it's like still waters run deep.
He won his season of Celebrity Apprentice, actually.
I forgot about that.
He won.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
And this is not getting political. I don't care who you are. Everybody watched Apprentice back in the day. Stop.
Yeah.
He was very funny on it. And that translated over to his showmanship here. So where I don't like country music, I mean, like, just to give you an idea, listeners, Zach Brown is about as much as I will dip my toe in the water, no pun intended, when it comes to country. This was a reach for me. But he was such a showman, and he was so entertaining as a persona, I didn't mind. But I owed you this, so we went to see Trace Adkins. And worth noting, because they closed a section off of the amphitheater. Now, you had never been to the amphitheater.
No.
You've seen it, obviously. I had seen 98 Degrees on a trip where I was visiting Joe, and he did what you do as a pass holder. He gets you in for free. So now we pay that forward. So I had been up there before, but I had never seen a section cut off the way that they did because of the obstructed view, which that's nice to do.
Yeah. it makes sense because, you know, for people that they might wait on a line, they get there, and then they find out you can't actually see the stage. Yeah, it makes sense to do it. But that's a lot of people that aren't going to get a chance to see the show. So SeaWorld is good about giving you the option to buy an upgrade if you want a guaranteed seat closer. We did that for the Lit and Fuel show the first time that we went to a concert there. It was our first day as pass holders. We were able to get in about 15 minutes before the concert started. And to be told, or to be honest, we got the last 2 seats. Literally the last 2. We were very lucky.
There was a family of 4 ahead of us. And because it was only 2 seats, they opted not to take them. It's not like EPCOT where, I mean, certain bands at EPCOT, you can still work your way in. Others, you want to do the dining package to guarantee a seat. This, for as much as it felt like the crowds were low in the park throughout the day, I think people came in straight and made a beeline to go to the amphitheater for the show because the way it packed out did not reflect how it felt in the park
Correct.
that day. So had we known, we would have padded a little bit more time, but we were lucky to get seats.
Now, this is where this show, now it's a full-on show. It's a 75-minute concert. So it's similar to Universal in that it's a full concert. However, this is the one that, of the 3 parks, of the 3 destinations, this is the one that feels most like a concert venue because you have the floor, you have the lower level, and then you have an upper deck. And they are actual stadium seats. It's not a lawn, it's not a bench, bleacher style, like you're in an amphitheater. They hold a lot of people, but yes, if there's somebody that you are dying to see, you can pay the upgrade and guarantee your way in, or if you're willing to roll the dice, just make sure that you get there early. But I thought Trace Adkins put on a great show. He sounds great. For a guy in his mid-60s, he sounds great. His
To
stage
still have that range is pretty incredible.
His stage presence was great. He's wildly funny. The stories that he tells, phenomenal. So if you're a fan of his, go check him out. If you're looking for an entertaining show and you like country or wouldn't mind sitting through a country show and it's included in your park admission, I would say absolutely go and see him. He was a lot of fun.
I think he was also very aware of that not everybody there was a fan. So he knew how to work the crowd in a way that was appealing to everybody.
Now, something else that I think is appealing to everybody. Chicken tenders.
Finally!
I have been talking about this for long enough, and I decided it was time to do the Tendy Challenge. Now, admittedly, I sort of decided on the fly to do the Tendy Challenge. And I didn't have our proper recorder, but I did have my phone. Actually, I was very impressed with how my phone recorded everything. Pleasantly surprised. And I decided to start, and I'm going to do it across all 3 destinations. I'm not only going to do Walt Disney World, because we do talk about all 3 destinations here. And it's noteworthy, you know, I talked, I believe in the last episode, I talked about how much is here in Central Florida and how much entertainment there is for families. Disney World is great. Universal is great. SeaWorld is great. But I feel like for the most part, with there being so much intense competition and there being so many things offered for so many people, this is a place now. It's not always a 4-day vacation, stay in one place and go home. You can sort of spread yourself out and do a little bit of everything. And certainly I think the ride share, Lyft and Uber, that's opened a lot of doors to move people around conveniently from park to park. So I thought it was important, especially because we do talk about all the things we do here in Central Florida. I thought it was important to extend the Tendy Challenge across all destinations.
All in the name of research, right?
Yes. Strictly
Not just so you could eat more tendies.
back off, man. I'm a scientist. Standing outside of Mel's Drive-In here at Universal Studios Florida. This is a staple of Universal Studios. It's known for having very, very good food, good burgers, also good chicken tenders. So I had to stop here and give this taste test. $12.99, you get 4 tenders. That's a good value and a big heaping pile of fries. So for money on the dollar, value on the dollar, I like this a lot. Looking at it, it's got a nice breading on it. It's got a nice golden brown on it. It's not, it's not soggy. It's not greasy. There is a discrepancy in the size, though. Some of them are very small. Some of them are very large. So you kind of get the good with the bad there. But let's go ahead and give this the taste test. This is good. It's very crispy. The chicken it's super it's hot. I mean, this food came out hot and fresh. It's got a ton of flavor, juicy, very fresh piece of chicken. Like, you can tell when you've got like old frozen chicken. This is super, super fresh and tender. I'm gonna say this is above average. It's a strong start. I'll give this a 7 out of 10. Here at Flame Craft Barbecue and the Flame Craft Bar at SeaWorld, they have the chicken tender. All right, so it's called the chicken tender stack if you're inside ordering off the menu. If you look online, they call it a chicken tender tower. Now, this kind of breaks a lot of the rules because, yes, it's chicken tenders, but it is smothered in melted cheese. It has the fries. It's got bacon. So I don't want to hold it against it if it is not completely crispy because it has been smothered in this cheese. But what I will tell you is that compared to the last tender, these are a lot meatier. They're a lot bigger. They are falling apart a little bit, but I'm not going to knock points off for that. It could be the cheese that made the breading a little bit soft. So I am going in. Oh, wow. This is deceptive. This is deceptively good. It's a lot crispier than it looks. It's a fresh tender. There's a ton of flavor to it. Very, very juicy tender. It is coming in on the high end of the budget when you think about what it costs to have chicken tenders at a park. Well, $22.99 for this. But you get 4 tenders, 4 big tenders, plus all the accoutrement and a big stack of French fries. I'm definitely... Let's take the cheese and the bacon out of this. I think you have to do. Just on tender alone, I'm gonna give this an 8.75. So I think that's a pretty good score. I'm going to give this one an 8.75. Flame Craft Barbecue over here at SeaWorld Orlando. Now let's talk about something, and I know we're only 3 tendy challenges in, but I'm going to cast this out there and say tonight I had what I'm, as of right now, the best chicken tenders on Disney property, bar none.
Okay.
Bar none.
Okay.
The chicken tenders over at Splitsville. Now, we had dinner at Splitsville this evening before we came to Dockside with our very dear friends Brendan and Catherine. It was wonderful to see them. We had a great meal. We walked around. It was a wonderful night. But let's talk specifically about the tendies. Now, we have said on the show before, don't sleep on the food over at Splitsville. I know people think, oh, it's a bowling alley.
Sushi. They have the best sushi. I don't know why. It shouldn't make sense, but it's incredible.
The staff there is wonderful. The food there is wonderful. You can almost always get a reservation, and I find that their prices, for the most part, are very fair. I think comparable to what you find on Disney property. But the chicken tenders tonight were the perfect golden brown. The crunch on them was fantastic. They had a little bit of spice to them, not hot, just a little zip. Not spicy, but a little zippy. It gave it a little bit more depth. But the chicken itself was so wonderfully cooked. It was, they're called chicken tenders for a reason. There is nothing more disenchanting than when you get chicken tenders and they're dry, because it's literally in the name. These, my friends, are chicken tenders. I mean, you could bottle the juice. They are that good.
The color was incredible.
Consistent across the board. No flop. No softness. No goopiness. Like, just firm and crunchy and full of flavor and perfectly moist and tender. It was a perfect piece of chicken.
You have to rate them. You rated all of the other ones.
Okay. This is almost not fair, because the only thing that I could give a 10 out of 10 to, when you think about restaurant chicken, I'm not talking about like my mom's chicken cutlets, I'm talking about like restaurant chicken. I couldn't even, it's fried, but I wouldn't even give it to a chicken tender. I give it to Uncle Lou's over in Tennessee. In Memphis. That is the 10 out of 10. I give these a 9. What?
I thought you did them out of 5.
Oh, did I do them out of 5?
This was yours. You were supposed to remember this.
Did I do them out of 5? I'll tell you what, because I'm giving Uncle Lou's a 10, and on that scale, I would give these a 9.5. But if I'm doing it out of 5, with 5 being I would give it a 4.5. I'd give it a 4.5. Like, I don't want to go absolutely crazy and give it the perfect score just yet, because we're only 3 in.
You're 3 in. And Disney has since rolled out a whole chicken tendy line this year across all of the parts. They redid all of their tendies. That's what got us here in the first place.
Well, that's why we're here, and I am excited to continue the Tendy Challenge, the Tendy Throwdown, moving forward. Now, let's talk about our talk topic for this evening. And it is the new CEO of the Walt Disney Company, Josh D'Amaro, specifically his first month on the job.
Yes, we are going to break down the beautiful D'Amaro. Here's the thing. We've said this several times leading up to him officially taking over. Give him a chance. He's got to get used to the role for as much as they've been training him up, because this did not just happen overnight. They may have announced it relatively recently. This has been in the works for quite some time, because if you think about it, Disney's Q1 starts in October, when by and large everybody is in Q4 at the end of the year.
Yeah.
So we're already in Q2 by Disney standards. They didn't just throw him in Q1. This is probably, if I had to wager a guess, he's probably been training since last summer to take over. And so this is not complete baptism by fire. To me, what this looks like is he was biding his time and waiting until he was officially the man in charge to start pulling the triggers on some things. Now, I know that the circumstances under which he started were not ideal, because the biggest news, the thing that everybody's talking about, is that they laid off 1,000 people, which is very unfortunate, and you never want to see anyone lose their job. However, this is one of these things where it's like, we don't know what we don't know as the general public. There's a reason for it. We don't know where all of these jobs are coming from. We don't know where they found the cost-cutting effort. Like, if there's a lot of jobs that can be consolidated, we're not seeing what he sees. So while it's very jarring to hear, and you never want to see things like this happen, and you don't want people to be out of work, there is also a certain amount or a certain element of you can't make an omelet without breaking some eggs, and this is just one of those unfortunate things that's coming with the job description.
And the other thing is, I'm going to tag in for just a second. If he hadn't done it, Iger would have.
Absolutely.
This is the thing. People sit there and they're pointing the finger at DeMauro saying, he just fired 1,000 people. Do you really
he didn't
think...
by himself.
No. And also, do you really believe he woke up one morning and just said, I'm 2 weeks in, I'm firing 1,000 people?
Absolutely
No.
not.
This is something that had been in the works prior to him taking over, and let's not pretend, we're going to take the mouse-colored glasses off for a second. Let's pretend that this is a business. By the way, it is a business. I'm sure the conversation behind closed doors was, I'm Bob Iger, I handpicked you. You're going to have to do this.
Yep.
We've made this decision, it's in the works, and it's going to fall underneath you. Good luck.
We also don't know, again, what department it was coming from. These could have been people that were wrapping up on a certain project.
Right.
Or, we know that Villain's Land was announced. Maybe these were people that were working on Villain's Land, but they've paused it for a minute. We just don't know what we don't know. It could be ESPN. We just don't know. So that aside, it seems to me like he was biding his time because he's so focused on the guest experience, which we know, to start judging a couple of things. Like, almost immediately, we got the ASL videos that are being released. That's something that would have been in the works for a while because they put a full production behind it. So my guess is that was probably filming in the fall. But Han Solo was announced for Galaxy's Edge. I know everybody hates the wig. Clearly there was not a big wig budget. They were rolling over Maui's wig budget from Moana. But point is, it's a little, you're spending some money in Galaxy's Edge. It wouldn't even surprise me if later on we see those drones that we were supposed to have from the beginning. Almost immediately again, Starlight. People really had been going in on it being like a bland parade. I personally don't think so. I like it. I thought it was cool. But Peter Pan and Wendy are flying in that parade now. And I got a little choked up watching the video, admittedly. It looks absolutely incredible. But this is where I think instead of spending money on a bigger project, it seems like he broke it down and is dispersing it to things that maybe could use a little bit of a facelift. And this is what I'd rather see.
Yeah.
Rather than another coaster, rather than another fully immersive land, I'd rather him show love in places that need it.
Yeah, I think what has impressed me the most is that he has been very upfront in saying that if he's not in his office, if he's not in a meeting that he needs to be in, you will see him in the parks. You will see him out and about, and he will allow you to speak to him and give him he'll give you the time of day.
He will.
Because he wants to know exactly how to improve your guest experience. This is where I think you're going to see a shift in the creatives will handle the creative, and the parks are going to handle the parks.
Yep.
And I think that without trying to meddle too much into too many things, and just allowing the people that you've paid to run those departments to run them the way they know how, I think we're going to see a bit of a resurgence here. And I'm very excited to see what the future holds, specifically in the parks.
Me too.
Now, we had teased a straw charm courtesy of our friends over at the Hidden Mickey Supply Co. And I'm going to go ahead and give that to the first person who DMs us or emails us the word future, because I'm excited for the future under Josh tomorrow. Thank you all so much for joining us this and every week at Monoreel Radio. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and rate us on your podcast platform of choice. We'd love to hear from you. You can DM us on all forms of social media or shoot us an email, monoreelradio@gmail.com. And for links to everything related to the show, it is going to be online at monoreelradio.com. For Jackie, I'm Sean. Have a magical week, everyone.